Alright guys, this video is going to get into the basics of file organization with the Notability app. Pull out your iPads and let's get to work. Notice on the left hand side here we have a series of folders. I have one for astronomy or science, a couple for couple different periods, and one for conferences. I'm going to open up my general earth science folder here. And then notice underneath I have some subfolders. This can be really helpful because what I'm going to want you to do is make an earth science folder and then organize it by topic that we cover through the entire year. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Very first thing that you want to do is you're going to want to click on this little plus symbol right up here. Once you click on it, you're asked if you want to make a category or a subject. A category is a big folder. So I'm going to change to a category, and I'm going to call this Earth Science. Then I'm just going to put delete because this is an example and I want to be able to delete it. And I'm going to select OK or hit category. And notice that I have a main folder down here now that says Earth Science Delete. Now I want to add a subject within there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the plus sign again with this folder open. That way it will add the subject underneath that folder. I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign again. And what I want to add in there is I want to add a subject within that main category. So our very first unit is Value of Earth Science, or Intro Unit, I-N-T-R-O. Intro Unit. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit Subject. And it's going to add it right there. And now if I open that up, I can put any notes or worksheets within that little folder, and they'll show up here on the right-hand side. Now I can do this again after we go through our intro unit. Our next unit is going to be about the atmosphere, climate, and weather. So I can add another subject, and we'll just call this climate and weather. We may use a different name later on. Hit the subject button, and it's going to add it right underneath there. And then notice also that whichever one's active is a little bit bigger. So if I wanted the intro unit to be active, I just go ahead and click on that, and it gets a little bit bigger. It has its own color. And then I have my climate and weather one right there. Now, a real quick note, your Notability right now may look a little bit different than mine. I customized my Notability, just the colors and the fonts that I'm using. You can do that right down here in the settings. If you click on that, it'll ask you what you want your default paper to be and default captions and stuff like that. We'll get into that stuff a little bit later on and some more of the advanced features. But if you want to play around in the settings, that's where you can change some of the things that you see that are different in mine from yours. All right, so that's your basic organization. Now let's say you decided to close that folder and maybe open up a different one. So if I wanted to, I'd just tap on the Earth Science to close, and it closes that folder, and all the subjects underneath are hidden. And if I close my general Earth Science, same thing happens. I could have as many folders open as I want, or I could have as few folders open as I want. Now, if you're going to use Notability for your other classes, I recommend that you make a different folder for all of your classes. That way, you'll stay really nice and organized, and you'll know where all your stuff is. All right, now that we've made some folders, let's talk about document management. I'm going to go to my unfiled notes, which is right here. And if I click on that, you're going to see some things come up. Now, these are some of my documents that are not in any folders. That's why they're called unfiled. Let's say I want to move some of them around. Let's say I want to take this top one. If I want to move this document from my unfiled notes into my conferences folder, what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my conferences folder, and all I do is click and drag where I want it to be. And notice that on the left-hand side, I'm getting some highlights here. If I want to drop it into ICE 13, I just click and drag and I drop it there. And now if I go to my ICE 13, it's there. And if I want to move it back to my unfiled notes, I click and drag it up to unfiled, and now it will go right up there. And if I go back to my unfiled, it's right back at the top. So moving notes around are really easy. And let's say I made a mistake. Let's say I don't want one of these subjects underneath my Earth Science test to delete. Let's say I want to get rid of something here. Close up this to give us a little bit of room here. And I want to get rid of this intro unit. Here's all you do. You just take your finger and you swipe from left to right or right to left. And you're going to get that familiar delete. That's very similar in all Apple devices. And as soon as you click delete, it's gone. It'll ask you if you want to delete it. Absolutely, it's gone. So you can do this as much as you want. And let's say you want to get rid of a document or two. You do the same thing. All you need to do is swipe your finger and the delete will show up. Now renaming is pretty easy as well. Right up here in the upper left, there's an edit button. And if you hit edit, you'll notice that now all the names of everything can be changed. So if I want to change Earth Science to delete, I just select in that area. I can back up and just get rid of that delete if I wanted to and hit done, and there we go. Now it just says Earth Science. I can do the same thing with the documents. I can change the name of things. I can go to Note August 13th and I can change the name to whatever I want, or I can delete any portion of that as well. So document management is really pretty easy on the iPad and Notability. When you're finished, hit done. Now let's say you had a note that you wanted to get rid of. Another way to get rid of it, if you want to get rid of a bunch of things at once, you could hit the edit button again, and you could select as many documents as you wanted just by tapping on them, and then you could hit this delete button right here. You'll get the same confirmation if you want to delete. I don't want to, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click off. But it's a quicker way to delete if you want to. One other quick feature that I'll show you within the edit window, if you tap on edit again, you'll notice that there's this option that shows up here in the far right, this little plus sign. And what that is a duplicate. So let's say for whatever reason you wanted to have another copy of something, you just select whatever document it is and you push this button right here and you hit duplicate. And like it says, once you hit duplicate, you will then have 2 copies of that document. Notice now I have Note August 16th, and then here's the copy of it. I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and I'm going to delete it simply by swiping, and then I'm going to click on delete, and it's gone. I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and there it goes. All right, just a couple more things to wrap it up. You also notice in your notes section you have an area right here that will help you organize. If you tap on that, you can organize your notes either by name or by date, modified, created, size, exported, etc. And you also have a search feature right here where if you tap on that, you can search for any document by name, or you can search by content area if you're looking for something that has something specific within it but you can't remember the name. In addition, you have this guy right up here. Now, when you tap on that, it's going to say, what do you want to bring in? Do you want to bring something in from Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, WebDAV, whatever it is? But this is a useful way for bringing documents into Notability if you don't go through Schoology. Down on the bottom here, you have a help. So you can tap on that, and it'll give you all the help that you need. Next, we have an information button. So it'll tell you what's going on with Notability, any support, any ideas that you have. You can go ahead and send that to them. And then lastly, if you want to create a note, what you would do is you would tap on this guy right up here in the upper right. Now we'll get into that in the next tutorial, but this is where you would go to actually start making notes. All right, so I hope you found this tutorial useful on how to keep organized within Notability. It'll take a little bit of practice, but once you get used to it, you should be good to go. Let me know if you have any questions in class. I'd be more than happy to help you out.